Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, and welcome back to another video on Lord of the Rings Home. And today, we're going to be talking about part 2 of what we were talking about yesterday. Now, I was hoping that maybe the rest of my videos would have been talking about, how to do better in the Mines of Moria, Chapter 1. And we'll be getting to that, I guess, over the weekend now at this point, as we prepare into week 2. But I think we really need to kind of have an honest conversation about the results of yesterday. So as you guys know, if you had checked out my first video or not, that basically that there were a handful of people, particularly in the top guilds, that had got temporary banned. Now I don't know if some of them got permanently banned, but from what I've been hearing from other people and people who have DM'd me and shared with me, is that they were just temporary bans, and that most accounts that I know of, were reactivated. But, what I don't like is that essentially if the gold, so TLDR, if you guys don't know what happened, there was a bug with the raid rewards that were sent out to the inbox. Yesterday, the inbox was deactivated. But if you were to have got the first guild chest in the raids, you would have got about like 300,000 gold and some light crystals and like 10 gems or something like that. But this was essentially able to be claimed ad nauseum if you claimed it and then you like hard reset your game or something like that, that the mail would still be there, or it would come back into your inbox and you could claim it again. Now, some people claim this a lot of times. Some people had many millions of gold, and so if it was in your inventory when those accounts were disabled, then it was taken away. But if during that time you were able to spend it somehow, I guess depending on your level of whaling and krakening or whatever, you may have been able to spend it on promotions, for example, is probably the quickest thing that you could just spend gold to get it out of your inventory. Other things would be obviously leveling up, but that's kind of dependent on how much XP you have. So, in some instances you can only spend so much gold depending on how much your other resources is. So if I wanted to take Aomer to 60, for example, I only have 323,000 XP. So I could only spend probably about that much amount of gold anyways. And other ways that obviously that you can spend gold in this game is by upgrading your gear and upgrading your ability levels. But, I guess at some stage, there is a kind of a little bit of a cap of how much gold that you could spend because of just available uses for it in terms of like whether or not you can do it or not. But anyways, so anyone who was able to do that, some people were sitting on like a crap ton of promotions because, obviously you need gold to do that, especially when you get to like 4, 5, 6, and 7 star where it gets really expensive. And people were able to do that. And then when they got their account back, that they had it there. Like it was fully there and they still had it. But otherwise, the excess gold in your inventory was taken away and that was rolled back. So this creates a bit of a two-tier problem in a handful of ways, right? So people who were able to keep all these upgrades have a significant amount of progress over the rest of us who were not, who never were able to take advantage of the bug, who just, didn't have the raids running at the right time, didn't have the raid rewards coming in at the right time, because this was largely an issue or an instance for people who kind of had their raid rewards coming in at around 9 a.m. Pacific time, from what I've been hearing, somewhere around there. So if you started your raid from the other day and then it ended somewhere in this time frame, that you were potentially able to take advantage of this. How many people did take advantage of this? We're not going to get any concrete numbers, but where this is going to impact the most, and why, even since the days of Marvel Strike Force, when I've been playing that, and I still am playing it, it's an illusion of competition. And what I mean by that, and integrity, actually. And what I mean by that is that the companies very likely like to brush a lot of this shit under the table, right? They try to basically do the minimum amount of work that they can to figure out these problems. And where this is going to become really evident is an arena, because obviously that's the only kind of PvP competitive game mode that exists right now where people would care about this. Hey, there's a Gear 9 Eladin in my arena now. Congratulations, Scorpion. Maybe I doubt that was a part of the raid bugs, but anyways, that's probably Return to Rivendell, which is a complete it's Sam's adventure, and that's a completely different conversation. But where people are going to be able to take advantage of all this gold is people who are able to put it into their arena teams, right? Or even any other team. Frankly, it doesn't even have to be an arena team. But where you're going to notice the most is in competitive game modes, and unfortunately, we only have one of those right now, and that's the arena game mode. So if you are going to see any of that in here, it's probably going to be like Arena Shard 1 and 2. I would imagine who probably were able to take advantage of this kind of stuff, players who were kind of at that kind of level. Now that would be I'm in arena rank arena shard 1, so if I am seeing it, it's going to be higher up. Honestly, most of us are like G8 maxed out characters. I'm still pissed off that I can't see the star ranks because arena has been an absolute mess, because honestly I don't know what kind of power levels I'm going into when I fight these people, because I could be walking into a 5-star or a 7-star trap. Honestly, I have no idea, and that part frustrates me. But anyways, yeah, the fact that people were able to keep their rewards while other people who did nothing or either didn't or just were bystanders, right? Then they're having to put up with this. What I think should have happened, what I think should happen is that for everyone who was unaffected, CG should send out gold compensation in just a flat terms. Yes, I know we're getting a login calendar right now for 50k-ish gold a day or whatever, 50k, 100k a day. I think they should just give a flat amount of gold as compensation to say, sorry, we fucked up, and we'll try to do better. I mean, honestly, I don't know what else to do. I mean, they're at the point now where they've already kind of drawn their line in the sand, so to speak. And I do want to bring up the response. It was very limited, actually. You can see it right here at the bottom. This is at 11 a.m. Pacific time, so that was just over about an hour and a half ago as of recording this. We've completed our investigation into individual accounts related to the exploitative behavior. Thank you for your patience. We have unsuspended the appropriate accounts. Now, that to me suggests that maybe some of them did remain banned, but again, I haven't had anyone come up to me or DM me saying, hey, I'm still banned. But I'm not 100% into the LotR Discord community. I know there's a lot of people out there from Marvel Strike Force that likes to say nasty things about me in the Discord, so I take it for what it is, because people probably don't like me from Marvel Strike Force. We'll be continuing to monitor and investigate as necessary. So I'm not really sure what that means, because if they've concluded their investigation, then why are they continuing to monitor and investigate? Isn't that, what are they continuing to monitor and investigate? The way that people spend their gold? Because as we know that some people did. Now, I've had personal DMs from people that they've been able to keep a couple million gold. So take that for what it's worth. I don't think that they overclaim to the degree that some people did. And largely that's, not that they kept the million gold, is that they spent it. They spent the million golds in the way that I described earlier, and they just didn't have anything else that they could spend it on because they ran out of things that they could upgrade, things like that. So whatever excess gold was, as a result, was taken away. But they were able to spend a couple million gold. So, that is still, I think, a lot, because if we look at, in terms of how much gold that we get on a regular basis, I have the Lord of the Rings gold calculator. Let me bring that back up. Now, I haven't brought this up in a while, and it's not, I don't know if it's 100% updated lately, but it does include a lot of things, including Guild Raid Chest 1, actually. So, just to share with you, my head's in the way a little bit. We're looking at, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. We're kind of looking at about anywhere from 95,000 gold to about 150,000 gold, including the Guild Raid Chest 1. That's being thrown in there on a daily basis. We're taking that, and that's the daily amount of gold is 300,000 divided by 7. And the personal gold as well at a reasonable rate. And that's what we're looking at. So you're looking at anywhere from early totals to about 95,000 a day to about 150,000 a day, depending on how advanced your challenges are and things like that. So being able to keep, 2 million gold is still a lot, right? That's still like anywhere from 10 to 15 days or more, depending on your where you're at in the game in terms of gold that you're being able to be ahead. Now, on the surface, that might not seem like a lot. But, in a game that's eventually going to become, and I know it's not right now, and who knows if the game's actually going to keep going as it is. I say that because the game's run into a lot of trouble points, right? I think all of us can at least agree that the game has had a very rough start and a very bumpy one, to say the least. And so how all of this actually impacts the game writ large is going to be interesting to follow. I'm not going to say I'm super mad, but I'm also not happy either. I'm not surprised that this is the way that things went down, but I am a little bit disappointed. I feel that at the very least, the people who were unaffected should get some compensation, because now they're having to deal with all these other people in their shards who have this advantage that others don't. And why I'm making this video again is really just to make other people aware, especially those who are not really up to date with things because they don't follow the Discord. You know, and honestly, there's a very small percentage of people who actually do follow the Discord. It's a very tiny Discord for a new game, and so I kind of want to just get that out there in the YouTube space and kind of also get an idea of how you feel out there as well with the community, and whether or not this impacted you specifically, if you had an account ban, a temp ban, or otherwise, or if you have a full ban still. Let me know in the comments down below. Today was the release day of Tebeb the Sage. Honestly, like, all this means nothing to me right now. I'm not going to spend money on Lord of the Rings Home. I spent money to get Elrond, and I have not spent since. I am not going to spend money on this game. Why? Because there is no integrity. Capital Games doesn't have any integrity. I expected a little bit more from someone who doesn't have direct experience with playing Capital Games games. I did expect a little bit more, but I was disappointed. And so, like Marvel Strike Force, I am not going to be spending on this game anymore. And until there's a point where I feel like I've been properly wooed in my faith and their ability to do the right thing, and also to provide us with a game that's not buggy as shit. A lot of this, I'll say, that is probably their responsibility too. You know, there's some responsibility for the players, I think, not to have overclaimed that. And honestly, I think after the first couple of times, you should have known better. At the same time, the company also should know better and should be able to actually, you know, be able to run their game, be able to code properly, be able to make sure things don't get released in a buggy, shitty state. So it's on everyone, but there's a lot on Capital Games as well. Anyways, that's the end of my video, and until next time, hopefully the next time will be a little bit more positive, and we'll be able to actually talk and kind of dig deep into Mines of Moria strategy and things like that on the run-up to week 2. That's it, everyone. Until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.